Headline: Elon Musk Neuralink implants brain tech in human patient for the first time. And this is coming out January 29th, 2024. And this was actually my favorite response to the news. This was someone posted a cartoon, and it says, Bill Gates, let's make more vaccines. And then you have the Musk fanboys and fangirls, no, you will put microchips in our bodies and track us. And then you have Elon Musk saying, I will literally put a microchip in your brain. And the fanboys and fangirls are like, oh, nice. So this is actually, I think this is very, very accurate of sort of the reactions that I've been seeing. But I want to go through some of these things because I think it's actually really quite an interesting story on both the story itself and also to how are people reacting. So this came out just a few hours ago. It says here, Elon Musk, the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection. And another one here says from 4 hours ago, enables control of your phone or computer through them almost any device just by thinking. Let's talk about the microchip thing, the Neuralink. Initial users will be those who have lost the use of their limbs. Imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than a speed typist or auctioneer. That is the goal. And then we have here 4 hours ago, the first Neuralink product is called telepathy. And, it's interesting because, I was just kind of going through how, people are reacting to this stuff. Someone saying, what happens to these users if there is a solar flare. Someone tweeted out the Bill Gates thing, which I thought was, again, my favorite one. Here's another one. I'm not so sure how I feel about this, referring to Terminators. Another person, me announcing telepathy to the world. Another one, I'm convinced 83% of people are terrified by the thought of brain chips. And that's literally what we're talking about. We're talking about brain chips here. Another one, live look at Elon's controlling my brain after he puts a Neuralink in it. A lot of people are making jokes about this stuff, but it is interesting. I'll just say it's interesting. There's yet to be proven, how well does this thing work and how far are they along? Because, Musk has been known to exaggerate a bit. But I'll just say interesting. That there was actually a movie that came out the same time as Venom. I believe it was called Upgrade, and it was kind of about putting a microchip in your brain, and the chip basically starts talking to you, kind of like other movies in this realm. Telepathy is literally a hallmark of occultism and the new age. How are people not seeing the implications? This is when the Neuralink malfunctions, making fun of Biden there. Can it save us from Biden, right? Sorry, Dave, afraid I can't do that. And this is referring to 2001 Space Odyssey. Moreover, nope. And it's interesting because at least so far, it seems like people aren't necessarily going along with it. So I'm just showing you guys what some of the initial reactions here, because I think it's interesting. From sticks and stones to brain infecting brain interfacing digital technology in a few thousand years. Pretty amazing. Wonder where we'll be in a few thousand more. So that's, I guess, a pro. Spiritual death. Are you worried about this technology might be weaponized somehow? Or rather, how do we stop this kind of technology from being weaponized against us? There's another person. I reject Neuralink. With many great initial promises of health breakthroughs, inevitably comes corruption for demonic usage. Our bodies should not be merged with AI, and our physical consciousness should not be downloaded and transferred. Don't mess with God's sovereignty. This is the I'm listening, tinfoil hat on the dog. I swear I'm living in a movie. When will I get one? Here's another one. Hopefully people don't share memes through telepathy. Does it come with an X premium subscription? Any technological advance has to be based on bioethical principles. Otherwise, playing God always ends badly. So those are some of the initial responses. The other thing, too, which I want to point out as well, when we were actually hearing about this stuff before, there were some concerns about fraud. This was back on December 6, 2023. I'll read the headline. Neuralink barrels into human tests despite fraud claims. And it says here, Elon Musk misled investors about brain chip testing. The basic gist of it, there was a Wired report where headline here is the gruesome story of how Neuralink's monkeys actually died. The question is whether or not there were primate deaths in testing this thing. Now, Elon Musk, you can see right here, Elon Musk says no primates died as a result of Neuralink's implants, but Wired investigation turned up something different, which I'll read the read the details, which is right here. So someone's not telling the truth here. Either Musk isn't telling the truth or Wired is just making stuff up. They're not telling the truth. So, I mean, it's because of discrepancy. So I'll just read it for you, so you guys can decide for yourself what you think. So this says here, it's coming from Wired. Public records reviewed by Wired and interviews conducted with a former Neuralink employee and a current researcher at the University of California Davis Primate Center paint a wholly different picture of Neuralink's animal research. The documents include veterinary records, first made public last year, that contain gruesome portrayals of suffering reportedly endured by many as a dozen of Neuralink's primate subjects, all of whom needed to be euthanized. These records could serve as a basis for any potential SEC probe into Musk's comments about Neuralink, which has faced multiple federal investigations as the company moves toward its goal of releasing the first commercially available brain-computer interface for humans. And this is always a touchy subject, but I'll just guys give you my honest opinion on this stuff. For much of science, animal testing is just part of it. Now, does it mean not necessarily that we should be torturing animals? Probably not. I'm against that. But just reality is if you work in science, animal testing is a big part of it. And so the issue has become are you lying about what happened to the primates if they indeed died? And then what is the safety of this for humans? Now, my understanding is the FDA did approve this stuff, so I don't think they're doing anything fraudulent in that regard. Whether or not how far along they are is anyone's guess, right? Right now, we're just going off what Musk is saying and just trying to pick apart his words, saying here it says the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. And time will tell. So this is just a few hours ago. The other thing too, I would say, he mentioned the Stephen Hawking stuff. So I'm actually not against this stuff. I'm not as fearful of technology as maybe some other people. But I do want any of this kind of stuff, and this is for anything regarding human testing, animal testing, anything with this stuff, is that I do want things to be above board. And I think for, researchers, there's, how can I say, there's a fine line between disclosing everything, that's exactly what we're doing, exactly how the stuff works, and then just reporting what needs to be reported, right? Because I understand, right, you're dealing with technology that they might want to keep a secret in multiple ways, because they don't necessarily want someone copying exactly what they're doing, exactly the same tests, and exactly the same kind of how can I say, problem solving techniques, etc. Because this is something that you want to be doing, is developing new tech, but not having someone just take the stuff from you. When he mentioned the Stephen Hawking thing, you can kind of see some initial results of what people are saying. Imagine how much much control the government would have over someone. Exactly this will happen. Mark my words. I want to use it to cheat in competitive online games. Is the interface the bottleneck? What if he just wasn't meant to? What if he was? This is not going to end well. Yeah, it's funny when you read this stuff. The thing is, though, is the Stephen Hawking example is a good one. Or, I'll talk about, with the Paralympics, this idea of, adding extra body parts to people who have lost an arm or leg. I have no problem with. So the idea of augmenting someone, I don't think is anything new. I mean, you could even argue something like a hearing aid, right, isn't necessarily something new. So the idea of the Neuralink isn't something new per se, but kind of, when he's saying, hey, we're going to call this thing telepathy, then you're starting to get into that sci-fi world. And, I myself am curious, how far this thing is along. So I just wanted to bring this stuff to your attention. Love to get your thoughts on this stuff. And what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with this? I just thought this one was really funny. And are the fanboys and fangirls going to go along with it and say, man, this is awesome. When can I get the brain, the microchip in my brain? Or will there be some pushback to this thing and only have limited applications in terms of what Musk is saying? We're only going to use it for the situation where someone can't use their arms or limbs. So let me know your thoughts on this thing. I'd love to hear it, and I'll catch you next video.